compete too much with the train. What we're seeing right now is the nuclear companies are trying to do what the oil, gas, and coal companies have been doing for a while, is to get us to subsidize them through our tax dollars, because Wall Street won't fund the building of nuclear power plants. It's not financially viable or safe, or it's too risky, so they won't fund it. And so they're trying to get us to fund it through our tax dollars. And in San Antonio, our electric company, which is publicly owned, CPS Energy, has suspended talks about nuclear, but we're still invested into two new nuclear power plants at South Texas Project 1 and 2, which were built to, well, not really up to standard, as some of us know, if you look at how it was built originally. And we don't know if it will withstand a hurricane, and it's on the Gulf Coast in Bay City. So we could be facing a similar problem here in San Antonio. It would affect Austin, Houston, and everything in between if we had a hurricane hit our nuclear power plants and took out all of the cooling towers and electrical systems and all of that. And do we want to have to deal with that circumstance and evacuate millions and millions and millions of people in South Texas and East Texas areas where we have the most people, the largest metropolitan areas? So thankfully they've stopped those talks, but what we need to do is continue to put pressure on them, because the business community in San Antonio supports nuclear because it's cheap and it's, quote, clean. And if you know anything about nuclear waste, we know that it's not clean. And it's only cheap because we subsidize it with our tax dollars. So put pressure on City Council, to, especially the mayor who's on the CPS board, to stop even thinking about investing in new nuclear and moving us away from it. But that means that all of us have to also do our part in becoming less dependent on fossil fuels. We can't be driving around 5 mile a gallon, 8 mile a gallon huge trucks just because we like trucks. And we need to change our culture and how we build and sustain our communities, so that you don't have to drive all the way across town to go to the grocery store, and you can actually do everything you need in a small community space and create sustainable methods where we're not getting all of our food from California, from Mexico, or wherever where it's being trucked in. So it's all a huge interconnected thing that we need to look at, and we need to look at how corporations have started to take over our lives, take over our democracy, and we need to be aware of what's going on, and not, after a few months pass, forget, oh yeah, there was an earthquake in Haiti and all the people got stranded, homeless, but we forgot about that. But those people are still homeless, and they're still dealing with cholera outbreaks and all of these other things. But we forget our collective minds. We go on with our lives, and we can't forget that this is going on right now in Japan, so that when the legislature right now is trying to cut all our social services from public education to on down the line, and that is going to make it harder for people who use those resources to participate in democracy, to go out to protest, take a half day off work and go lobby their legislature. Those things aren't going to be possible if it's harder and harder to work and harder to survive. And that's their goal. The goal of the corporate parties, which I won't name because we all know which two they are not in our best interest going to serve what is going to help us participate in community and in democracy and create a sustainable community for us to live in, without a lot of pressure from us to end that corporate rule of our democracy. So